Hello, everybody. This is Val E Song Productions, and we are here at Occupy Expo with Tim. All right, let's get into it. Hell yeah! All right,
I don't know.
who are you?
So my name is Tim. I am the CEO and founder of Vite's Kitchen. We're most known for our product Vite Ramen and our knives.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to meet with me today. And we are here at Occupy Expo. How has the convention been treating you so far?
So I'm very tired. I have gotten very little sleep, and my feet are bruising from standing too much. So
I can imagine. I mean, I'm sure it's nothing new for you because I know that you are the CEO. So I'm sure that you've mentioned in your blog that you've gotten many of the sleepless nights.
yeah, but I think it's part of it. A lot of it I want to mention is not by choice. It's not like I'm like, oh yeah, I gotta be a boy. I'm going to jump and grind. It's more like my body just doesn't let me sleep sometimes. Like, no matter what I do, it just goes, yeah, you're getting 3 hours of sleep tonight and you don't get sleep anymore. I'm like, bro, what the fuck? And then he's gonna complain about being tired? I don't know. My body's weird.
Hey, we're all a bit weird. And speaking of weird, you got VTubers here, and you have a new product, Hope Soda, which congratulations on, by the way. Is there extra you can tell us about that?
I'm gonna steal the hope soda from numbing this up.
Go ahead.
Can I grab the hope soda real quick? Thank you. So we got Hope Soda and Hopium Soda in collaboration with Iris. Yeah. So fun fact about Hope Soda and Opium Soda is that we actually, that Hope Soda is a Dr. Pepper like with a yuzu and vanilla twist, and Hopium Soda is a yuzu lemon melon soda. Iris actually doesn't really like Dr. Pepper cherry cola sodas that much, and so when we were asking about this project and we were talking about it, we were like, hey, would you like something that you might actually like drinking? It's like, yeah. So that's why Hopium Soda exists, not just Hope Soda.
Well, it's always good to have options, and I'm sure that's good for you because, surprisingly enough, you have to have a fruit allergy, right? And we have a yuzu's flavor right here.
Yeah, here's the thing. Technically, it's a fruit allergy. I say technically because you can just ignore it. It's an oral fruit pollen allergy, so it's like, yeah, my mouth gets a little swollen, and yeah, my lips itch and all that kind of stuff. It's like it's not life threatening, so I just eat it anyway. Also, it's because it's pollen. Anything that has been cooked or processed, in which the pollen is no longer there, then it's fine. So.
Well, that's definitely a relief, especially when you're still big on nutrition and all that. So you talk a little bit more about that and how like Vite Ramen is so focused on nutrition and protein goals.
Yeah, so I am actually neurodivergent. I am actually autistic and have ADHD combined type. And this is actually something I found out very late in my life. I actually learned about this when I was 28. And I actually learned about this after I started Vite Ramen. And one of the things about this is that within a lot of the sensory issues, within a lot of the problems that we neurodivergent individuals tend to have, is we don't eat very well. We don't eat very healthy. You know, obviously, I made Vite Ramen because I ate ramen all the time and didn't get my nutrition. And so Vite Ramen was my way of trying to be able to stay healthy and still also get gains and work out while being able to eat ramen. But we've expanded into that with things like our NanoBoost line. Anna, give me down to the NanoBoost real quick. NanoBoost. That's just these two are fine. And so one of the things we have expanded into is, for instance, our NanoBoost line, which is basically, if you suck at eating vegetables, you're stressed all the time, you have a lot of anxiety, then we have L-tyrosine in here, we have L-theanine in here, dopamine support, anti-anxiety, and we also have most of the vitamins and minerals that your body needs. And then you just drink it. Like it's just like how you drink energy drinks all the time. But it actually has all your nutrients and fiber. So stop fighting you to the bathroom every day.
Well, that definitely makes things very convenient. So I have this ask, is there any flavor that's similar to Worcestershire sauce?
No. So that is the thing we have not quite made yet, but we are certainly not adverse to, is all I will say for now. But I despise most protein powders and protein shakes. Well, whey protein has a really, really disgusting flavor to me. Despite that, I chug it every day anyway, because did you know that protein is actually one of the most important things that anyone with ADHD can have in order to be able to focus, think, and also mood support? Getting a ton of protein has been shown over and over again to be specifically good for not only body health and recovery, which is the obvious one, but also in pain management, in focus, in the ability to think fast, and otherwise actually even help with instances of depression and anxiety. There's a huge amount of information and wealth out there. I'm obviously not going to go over that here, but yeah. And so what he's mentioning with the Worcestershire sauce is that despite all of that, I still drink whey protein all the time, every single day, because I know it's good for me. It is literally medicine, but I hate it. So what I found a weird method is I take a shot of Worcestershire sauce, and that gets rid of the whey protein flavor. It works.
If it works, it works. Speaking of flavors, you have a wide variety of flavors to the ramen. It's probably coming from your experience being a cook in Michelin kitchens. But I have to ask, what can you tell me about cultural connection with many of your flavors? Is that like very important to you there?
Yeah. So one of the things that we do a lot of is, for instance, with onigiri, we made spicy seiso, which is a flavor from her hometown of Sichuan. And so that cultural identity and understanding the idea of being an Asian American and having that third culture where we are both Asian and American is really important. So when we create flavors, we actually take all these things into consideration. For instance, spicy seiso is developed as a flavor that is a sauce, but it can also be made as a soup, which is more preferable to a lot of Asians. And a lot of our other flavors, for instance, are usually made not as a soup, but more sauce-like by a lot of Americans. These are all things that we have to take into consideration and think about because we serve both Asians and Americans and Asian Americans. And for me specifically, I've been doing a lot more things in Hanfu and with Gen swords and other things from my heritage to connect more with it, with the understanding that I am both Asian and American, and to create and put these into the flavors as well.
100%. And on the topic of Asian American, what can you tell me about EEAAO?
So what?
EEAAO, more commonly known as Everything Everywhere All at Once.
That the movie is really, I think the movie is really great and very inspirational in how it deals with specific Asian American problems and just kind of it's a very interesting narrative as well in terms of how the storytelling goes and how the Asian American narrative is interwoven into it. It also helped me reconnect and really rethink about something I hadn't thought of in a very long time. I actually used to be very uncomfortable in camera. At one point, I did want to be an actor. At one point, I did want to do some kind of acting. And back in the day, I knew that if I, as an Asian American male, if I wanted to do something in Hollywood, I would have to play racist stereotypes, or I would unfortunately be relegated to do side roles, back roles, no matter how good I was, because of who I was and what I was born and who I was born as. And so I made the choice of going into culinary because my joke always was, if I go into acting, then I have a choice. I have a choice. If I go into acting, I'll be in the front. I'll be in the kitchen anyway. I'll just be in the front. I'll be in the front of house of the restaurant serving people, or I can choose my own destiny and go to the back of house. And so that's how I started culinary. But nowadays, I get to produce all these crazy commercials and also act in them. And despite having no other actors to hire because I don't have money for it, I've also learned how to rotoscope and be able to act with myself so that there's like multiple characters in the same scene that I'm acting both of.
Well, you've done a great job at that, but can you
Thank
tell
you.
us a little bit more about like getting in more into streaming and content? How has that whole experience been for you?
Yeah, getting more into streaming content, that's something I'm very inconsistent on right now. I do want to do it more. My Twitter bio still says I do it every Thursday. That's a complete lie. I'm still trying. I have a lot of content to edit. I have a lot of streams to do, and a lot of things I want to talk about. But at the end of the day, right now, one of the biggest issues is that in terms of writing, in terms of filming, in terms of acting, concepting, communication with, cover and things like that, I'm still doing all of it myself. And so all of these big marketing videos and everything, that is, it takes a lot of time. And so through all the editing, through all the effects and that sort of stuff, it does take up most of my time. And unfortunately, I do need to commit to these bigger projects more than streaming. So it's been spotty. Hopefully things start getting to the point where I can hire more people in order to help out with that sort of stuff, so I can have more consistent schedule.
Well, it's all incredibly impressive. But on the topic of creativity, you are actually quite the writer yourself. You write poetry and other stories. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Um, so yeah, I also want to be a writer. I've always also wanted to be a writer and write novels and otherwise have um I've also wanted to write a novel, and I actually have multiple stories that I've world built over. And one of the things that I really want to be doing is a esports thing. I have all these characters written. I've actually even created a game system and how all of that would work. And it's a story that is actually set in a it's actually set in an interesting fantasy world. Um, so, which I haven't seen esports in like a fantasy world sort of setting before, which I think is interesting, and the implications that we can go around it. And and that even feeds into a larger narrative story that I've constructed ever since I was into a high schooler, where I have all these worlds and characters already built. One day maybe I'll have the time to write it. But for now, I'm able to scratch my narrative itch and wanting to write, world build, and create through these projects that we're doing with people like Cover, as well as something like the VKS project, where we're also building a cyberpunk world in order to teach people how to cook and how to use a knife, while in an interactive, memorable way.
Oh, you kind of took that next question of mine about VKS there. And about knives, what can you tell me about knives? And specifically, what can you tell me about ZTO 777?
So ZT 777, that one is, so I started collecting pocket knives more than I did kitchen knives. And the ZT 0777 is a very um it is an extremely rare knife from ZT, which is one of my favorite manufacturers. And it has a lot of I have both kinds, which is the ZT 0777 the M390 one, which has the flame blade, and then the Damascus version, which was supposed to be produced in a much larger quantity and ended up having a lot of lamination issues with the Damascus, and so got and became very rare. I managed to get my hands on one. It was used, but it's something that is one of my prized possessions.
Would you say that's a favorite knife of yours?
I I think it's one of my favorites in the collection. That is something that I would say I like that I have in my collection. But in terms of use, I don't use it because it's so rare. Um, so I guess I wouldn't say it's one of my favorites in terms of use because I just never use it. So
Very much understand with that. On the topic of use, what does the name Chris Reeve have any meaning to you?
yeah, Chris Reeves is one of the one of the most important figures in for knife nerds, especially back in the day. He did develop S30V, which was largely considered to be the first steel developed specifically for knife making. And so through that, um, from CVM S30V, we got all kinds of other things from M390 to now Apex Ultra, Magna Cut, and that sort of stuff. RIP CPM, though I guess they got bought out and they're coming back. Um, and and I actually got my first specialized chef knife was from Chris Reeves. I brought the Chris Reeves Sakayo, and it was a decent knife. I think a lot of I think the Chris Reeves Sakayo was definitely made by a person who basically made a larger chef knife and or a larger folder, and didn't really understand the properties of a good chef knife as well. Looking back on it, it definitely wedged a lot. It definitely had a lot of issues with how it was made in terms of its cutting ability, but it was definitely a fun knife. Unfortunately, the first version I think was better than the second version. I think you can still buy Chris Reeve Sakaios now, but I'm not a huge fan of the second version. I did end up buying a second version after my first one was stolen with the rest of my bag of knives, and then I ended up disliking that second version so much I just gave it to my brother.
Well, that big instance of your knife unfortunately being stolen, that really got you, like, that sparked your passion for kitchen knives, I believe, yes?
Yeah, yeah. One of the things that I did immediately after getting my knife back stolen was I started trying to make my own knife, and I started designing and sketching out my own knife. Um, of which the blueprint, that knife is now kind of like the grandfather baseline for the VKS knife. Um, and then I didn't do anything with that for a very long time until we managed to start making knives with onigiri. So
Well, it's all very cool. I mean, you have so many collaborations with Onigiri, Zentrea, Takanashi Kiara, Iris. Are there any other collaborations you're looking forward to at the moment, or hoping that you can get, maybe?
not allowed to talk about any of that.
I'll understand. All understandable.
I have, yeah. All I can say is we have a lot of stuff coming up, a lot of cool partnerships, and a lot of cool collaborations coming up, and I can't wait for everyone to see them.
Hi. I actually have a couple quotes here that I wanted to know of you. One of them is from the name Auguste Gusteau. Do you know that name?
Sorry, what?
Auguste Gusteau.
No. I'm also just really bad with names and faces.
No, no worries. Well, the quote is, anyone can cook. How do you feel about that?
I think, interestingly enough, I think the movie got it right. The Ratatouille did get Ratatouille basically went anyone can cook, but not everyone can cook, but not everyone's passion is going to be cooking, or that's going to be what they're necessarily good at. For instance, Remy ended up being a very good cook, and then uh, the guy whose hair he was pulling ended up being good at front of house service. And we need every kind of person, right? So in that way too, how we approach food as a company and as how we develop products is we develop products for every level of skill or energy. Like, I cook very quick and I don't want to make food all the time. Absolutely not. After this convention, I am not making my own food. I just want to pour liquid nutrition down my gullet and then sleep. So it's not even about skill half the time, or even most of the time. It's about how much time, how much energy you want to devote into it. Because cooking is going to be more than just, oh yeah, do you have the skill for it? You need to plan what you need to buy, how much to buy, what to do with the extra ingredients, the timing of it, and so on and so forth. So we have everything from Vite Ramen, which can be made very easily to allow you to very easily construct anything, to the Vite Modular Kitchen, which is a new thing that we're developing and will allow you to more easily customize what you want to your energy levels, and even Nano Boost, which then allows you to go, okay, I just want hot Cheetos, chocolate, and a protein shake for dinner, and then it'll fill in the rest of your vitamins, minerals, and fiber and stuff. So
Well, thank you very much for that detailed explanation. Another quote very quick here is, desire is noble. Do you feel like you resonate with that at all?
yep, I do believe that one of the biggest problems that people from Dr. Stone, I believe,
Yes, yes, Dr. Stone.
and our crazy captain, I do believe that he has a point, and it's obviously exaggerated, but I believe a lot of neurodivergent individuals have a lot of problems with how they express their desire, and it's exaggerated in the show, but it is in a way. Oh, did you guys want to take a picture? Come take a picture, and I'll finish answering the question in a second.
Oh, apologies.
Real quick.
Well, I really only have like one more question to ask you here to wrap things up, and that is, what is your dream? What are you really aspiring towards right now?
I think that's a tough one. Um, I think I don't have. I think I have a lot of dreams, and I have no dreams. What I mean by that is there is no specific one desire that overrides everything that I do in life. Um, and but rather many different things that I want to do, and many things that I want to create. And I think in this kind of world that we currently have, where it's built for more neurotypical kind of behaviors and the more singular paths, those with ADHD and a lot of different desires and a lot of different skills and a lot of different interests are often maligned or put in or said, you need to focus, you need to do one thing. But I couldn't have done all this if I didn't actually have a lot of interest, if I weren't able to be more of a generalist, if I weren't able to learn all of these skills and then connect them. Because often the sum of the whole is going to be greater, or the whole is going to be the greater than the sum of the parts. And what that means is that by adding, my videography skill is not as good as dedicated videographers. My writing skill is probably not as good as a dedicated writer, or so on and so forth. But when I combine all of those together, because I have skill in all of them and the contexts of each, I'm able to layer them in a way that is not possible by someone who is just focused on one particular thing. And that creates much richer tapestries of context, story, and interactivity and experience that we can deliver, whether it's through product, whether through its story, or stupid videos, or even like this interview where we're doing it on this set in a con, right? Like you pan up a little bit and you'll see the convention. But this wouldn't have been possible if I didn't have all those different interests, if I didn't have all those directions. And so I would say I don't have one dream. And if you don't have a dream, or you don't have a singular dream, keep looking, keep finding, do multiple dreams, chase every single one at once. It's fine. Anyone who tells you that you can't, skill issue. They're just upset that they can only chase one at a time.
Well, that was a very passionate answer. Thank you so much for that. All right, I hope I can get to show off some of your booth and some more products you have there if you would.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anything else you want to shout out to the camera? Have people follow. People know who you are.
Yeah, I guess just follow Vite Ramen and follow me, Tim J. Zhang. I'll just keep doing crazy stuff and fun stuff that I like doing. That's about it.
All right, thank you so much for meeting with
Yeah,
me.
thank you.
Hey, so we forgot to record an outro on site. So, this will be Val E Song Productions signing out. Have yourselves a damn good one, and take care, y'all. We'll see you next time. Jaga!
Now the prize winner.
You just put the fries in the bag!
All right, now we need to get to a third one and jump.
That's fantastic B-roll footage right there. Thank you.